habitat family running across the eminent domain that in my grandfather's time would have been part of my lot, but currently belongs to the city. That's a Democrat lie, bet, because first time I encountered eminent domain was in New York on Montauk Highway. And looking backwards, I'm guessing that the large group of artists who sat in our driveway drawing our house probably were invading my mom's space using eminent domain. My mom's a fine artist. I'm mixed, and I'm pretty sure that New York is, or was, as racist as this place about little Muslim kids. So anyway, habitat family running their children across my yard. So I'm going to talk about people that use their children as bait when they think that someone is a predator, when they think that they've successfully installed predator programming into someone's psyche, which is really what people have tried very, very hard here to do with me. This is a research facility. It's a psych research. There's biological research that happens here. There's breeding research. I mean, Dr. Mengele was a researcher. There's quite a large contingent of that. I was told as a child a couple of different things. One thing was that I was better than my cousins because I was half white. I understood that as because I was mixed, I was like cooler because I was like going to be the new person because I was half and half. Yeah, I got both. But no, they were actually talking about the white half of me. And the other thing that I recall was my grandma, who is my favorite person. I mean, I'm just going to say that she is the one adult that I remember as being someone that she let me sit in her lap until my other adults didn't let me sit in her lap because, I mean, probably because it was a safe lap. Don't want a little girl sitting in a safe lap. We had a babysitter that we loved too that would let us sit in her lap. And her name was Mabel. She actually looked like Margaret now that I think about it, with glasses and stuff. She let her kid sit in her lap when her daughter was 13 years old. We liked Mabel a lot. Okay, now back to the habitat people. So, I'm going to talk about people that bait their children. Because I believe that I was people tried to set me up and have me be a blackmail, like, you know, so that you can control adults later on, like, oh, look at this picture of you. Guess what? She was 13. Except I turned out wrong, so they tried to kill me when I was 19. I mean, I had an accident when I was 19 where someone may have turned the steering wheel and I may have hit the tree in a less than accidentary fashion, but, you know, nobody investigated that, so it's all just, you know, speculation, even though we've seen it a few different times. When you see a lot of stuff, a lot of times you start to be like, is that coincidence? Is that like a real coincidental coincidence, or is that reality? Oh yeah, back to baiting. So I'm trying to avoid, I think. So this really creeps me out. So having been a child bait, person used for a variety of things that probably adults should not have been using a child for, and the child shouldn't even know about this stuff, but precocious. So when I first got here, you gross goobers, you're just so fucking gross. So this one person would call me, and people that were like socially more adept than I am told me that I need to hang out with people and be social because being a lone wolf is like bad psychology and all this shit. You know what? It's better to be a lone wolf sometimes. That's just the way it is. Except for I'm not a wolf. I'm more like a lone squirrel. I mean, I would say a lone mongoose because I like Ricky Tikki Tavi. So, no, I'm not that loaded. I'm just stressed out. This is how I am when I'm stressed out. have a hard time putting my words together. My thoughts wander. I feel a little shattery, a little shaky. They've taken my water things. I feel nervous because I've been doing a lot of watering to prevent fire, and they made it so that I can't even turn on my water. So I'm waiting for the sheriff to call, and I'm watching people run through the area, some of the areas that I'm worried about having people drop fire. I'm also going to say that when I raked stuff, there was a strange crackly thing, and that was before the warning about static electricity. And I have had weird static things happen here before, so I'm going to talk about that too later. But first, I have to do this stupid baiting thing. So having been a baited child, having been told all these weird things, having had all these weird things happen to me that I hope don't ever happen to other people, I was just like, what? So I'm listening to the social people that have better social skills than me, and they said it's a bad idea to be all by yourself, being a lone mongoose. So don't be a lone mongoose, be social. So I tried to be social, but it was just a bunch of cobras. What do mongoose do to cobras? So this woman will call me up, and I'd go to their house, and it was like stinky because so much cigarette smoke, and I'd just like get a headache and just be like, oh my god. And so finally I did say I can't go there anymore because too much cigarette smoke. So then they said, oh, we won't smoke while you're here. And you know what? It doesn't even matter because it's like saturated into the freaking carpet, furniture, and everything. And maybe I'm being a little bitchy, but whatever. People are screwing with me pretty bad. It's been a long time. So, but here I am. So I'm like, okay. So then I go up there, pretend to partake, but you know, can't really in any way. So God, I just hate that memory too. I mean, it just like is a lot of cigarette smoke over like a lot of years, and it's just like yellow. Maybe it's different now, and I'm just not nice. So I'd sit there, and they'd not smoke, and I'd try and be, you know, appreciative. And it turned out they were just stalking me and asking me all these weird questions and recording me as I answered, which there's nothing I can do. I had such a low red blood cell count, and I was on pretty much a lot of morphine for someone of my body weight, especially because I think I was like 20 pounds lighter then or something, too. I mean, I was like thinner, and I mean, that skin been heavier, too. So here we are, avoiding talking about the weird ass shit again. So installing things, psych things can be installed in people, like voyeurism and what's the other one that I specifically looked at? I'll probably think of it randomly in the middle of another sentence and let you know. If anyone ever watches this, which someone in the future is going to, so I don't know, I'm just doing it. So yeah, I've seen a lot of adults say a lot of inappropriate things to kids, and they'll start saying that shit pretty early on, and I've kind of like did a study, and some of it, I'm sure that some of it happens because there probably is some genuine, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, but like, so that's own thing. That's own mental dysfunction. But the other part of it is purely criminal. It is purely for monetary purposes, and it's to damage kids at a certain age. Because if you do it at a certain age, it will install, I think, probably some sort of personality disorder, or install the back door, the key entryway, where someone else who's, you know, maybe educated in this can be like, oh, a greenlit kid, and then carry on. And then when you become an adult, you've got other things to deal with that will stem from this, and it makes people more controllable, and it's a really horrifying thing. So part of it is the monetary aspect of making video and other stuff to cater to this other aspect that's got something going on, and it's probably a lot of it from damage from dealing with this aspect. But part of it, I mean, altogether, it mostly stems from a purely criminal enterprise, and it's a psychological type of criminal person. That's what I noticed at the groups, and I tried to tell people, um, yeah, that's a different video. Um, So back to being baited in these damn kids. So this woman up there in the smoking house would call me and invite me to, like, come up! And I'd be like, because I mean, it would take me 2-3 days. I was really sick then. So it'd take me a few days to recover. But I would do it because there you have the social people that are like, don't be a lone mongoose. And then as I would walk up there, I would need to walk past this one, corner with this house, and there'd be like these 4 boys out there, and there's so much weird stuff going on. I mean, it's just like so much weird stuff, and I'm sick, and it was just like one more weird thing, that there would be like 4 naked kids outside running around on their bike and on a 4-wheeler, and with the dog, and it's just like, oh my God, and I'm like lightheaded and stuff from anemia, and going up to inhale vast amounts of ancient nicotine oozing out of out of furniture, and it's just like, oh, and then you have all these other people acting like they don't know these people that just moved in, and they're like, why do you think, or do you think, or like, I mean, did you notice that her kids are always running around with no clothes on? I'm like, well, yeah. And then and then I thought the husband was like, I thought he was Mexican, and I thought that people were making fun of me because these are the same people that call me Arab, or were calling me Arab. But so then I thought that they were like equating like brown people don't know how to, and because in Pakistan, we did run around with no clothes on when you're a kid, and then as you get a little older, you notice like, hey man, I'm naked. That's really embarrassing, and you sort of like, it's probably the same psychological control mechanism as sexual abuse on kids, but it's like less damaging. It's more like a self-control thing that you put into yourself, where you're just like, I suppose it's like Adam and Eve, and you're like noticing, wait a minute, that's not right. And so like, but so I thought they were equating it with that, so I tried to be like, well, maybe it's like that in Mexico, I don't know. And then, yuck, that's just yucky. Looking backwards at what I understand, people thought was, yeah, just looking back at the whole disgusting thing, yeah, don't do that to your kids. Stop doing it. I saw some little girl being used, sort of like I'd been used. I mean, that really was a trigger. It was on that Baked Alaska guy. Like, she's like a 13-year-old, and she's really cute. But I mean, it's not okay if you're an adult. It was adults, I assume, that were doing the filming that caught Baked Alaska kind of flirting with her. Baked Alaska was not really the one in the bad there. It was the adults trolling that 13-year-old girl out to be used that way. I mean, that really offended me. I was really offended by that video, and I felt bad for Baked Alaska, whoever the dude is. I don't know if he hates me. He's one of my haters. Hello, if you're one of my haters. I mean, I still can be respectful of you for one thing. But, like, yeah, I don't even know who he is. But I just saw that video, and I didn't like it about the girl either. Because it was, like, the same age, and she had dark hair and dark eyes and stuff, like, And I was just like, who's the adults trolling you out, Lina? Who's the people trying to, and maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was people her own age, and I'm just freaking out over nothing, but it was really triggered. And so just adding all that stuff up and looking backwards, I'm saying, stop doing that. I think that when law enforcement does it, they use adult people that only look like kids. So just don't do weird things with your kids. Don't even use them to try and help any situation. You're adults. You can handle it. Anybody can come and ask anybody anything, anytime. Use your words. That's what I used to tell my kid when she was little. You don't swat people. You don't use your hands. You don't swat. You use your words. That's the first level of communication, is you use your words. And especially don't use your children. Thank you.